After 50 years in logging and construction and concrete and fabrication and guiding elk hunters and blacksmithing and every other thing under the sun, I've settled on this shirt. This is the shirt I wear. It's made by Red Cap. Now, each one of the things I've done has sort of gravitated me towards a different shirt. It's not a matter of the best shirt. It's a matter of the shirt that provides value in the service that you need for what you do day in and day out. So I have here a sampling of the shirts that I've worn over the years, ending up right here, right? You know that. And so I just want to kind of point out and talk about them. I started working when I was about 16 with my dad in the woods. Now, as a kid, I wore t-shirts as a kid, and I went back to t-shirts as a young construction worker, but in the woods, trying to do a man's work and look the part around here, Southern Oregon loggers wear hickory shirts, double front logger dungarees, suspenders, cork boots. It's a uniform, it's a look, and it's practical. But a hickory shirt is about as heavy a cotton twill fabric as you can buy. It's heavy, and it fits good, and it feels good, and it keeps you cool in the summer because it absorbs the sweat, and then it evaporates off. And doggone it, it'll take a pounding. They're slow to rip, and they're slow to wear through, and I liked them then, and I like them now, even though it's not what I wear anymore. Hickory shirts, this one's by Key. I'm a fan of Key products, by the way. I wear their pants every darn day now since Carhartt let me down, but that's a hickory shirt. Looks good, right? And then I decided, since I wasn't going to be an engineer, I was going to be a carpenter. And in the summer, for a long time, I wore t-shirts. And in the winter, for a long time, now this is not a flannel shirt, but flannel shirts are what I wore for a long time, particularly in Wyoming. Long sleeve flannel, usually a checked, and a short sleeve t-shirt in the summer. Mostly it's because young men wear t-shirts because they think they look good in t-shirts, right? T-shirts don't cost much and they don't weigh much and they're sort of disposable, but they look disposable. So nothing wrong with a t-shirt, nothing wrong with a flannel or just a long sleeve check shirt. They're work shirts, right? And then when I stopped logging up here and I realized how much I loved suspenders and the pants, I was locked in on the double front dungarees, but I didn't want to look like I was wearing a t-shirt as a contractor. I wanted to project something a little more professional, a little more regulated. By the way, that reminds me of a quote. There's a scholar, his name's Hugh Nibley. I just love him. And one particular day I read something in a book, I don't remember which book, where he said that something like, more or less, in most cases, a man's intelligence is directly proportional to the number of buttons that are buttoned on his shirt. Well, I'm not saying it's true, but somewhere along there I decided I was going to wear a button-down collar, button-up front, twill, short-sleeve check shirt in the summer, and a shirt kind of like this in the winter. So then became an evolution of colors and what's on sale and how you can save some money, and maybe Goodwill's got the shirt, and finally I decided that I get exhausted from making choices. Selection takes energy, and I'm going to lock down on a khaki shirt, double front logger dungaree jeans, suspenders, and for a long time, Sears Die Hard work boots. I had my uniform, and I kept working. Now, let me just throw out there that you may know that since high school in an FFA class, I learned to weld, sort of. I'm kind of a shade tree welder, but I did quite a bit. It helped me. I got a couple welding certifications, and it helped me in construction, and it helped me when I moved back to Oregon, and it helped me when I was logging, and boy, it helped me when I started blacksmithing. But back to the shirt metamorphosis, there was one particular day before I had settled on these 100% cotton or nearly 100% cotton shirts that I was right here in this shop with my dad, and he had a camp trailer. My dad didn't weld. And the spring shackle under the camp trailer had broken. He said, "Can you weld that for me?" "Sure." So I climbed under this camp trailer, and it was a low trailer. There was just a little bit of room. So I had to slide under there on the gravel floor, and I had the hood, and I had the stinger, and I had grounded to the frame when I went under. And I'm laying on my back, and the bottom of the trailer's right here. I couldn't even really put the hood on and turn my head. It was tight. Let me move this. And so I held the hood up, and I could see what I was welding, and I struck the arc, and I think I was pushing a bead uphill, I don't remember. And I'm welding along, and when you're welding, sparks and spatter are flying off of the bead. and they land on you sometimes. That's one of the reasons you protect yourself. And I realized that there was some sparks landing on the inside of my right bicep. And it wasn't a 100% cotton shirt I was wearing. I think it was some kind of one of those chambray shirts, about 50-50 polyester cotton. I thought, oh, that's hot, welding along. But I wanted to finish the bead, and the rod was getting short. Oh, that's getting hot. Yeah, that's getting real hot. So I dropped the stinger, and I pulled up the hood, and my shirt was on fire. It was burning right there. And the flame was kind of spreading, but I couldn't get my left arm over there to put it out. So I wormed out from underneath the trailer, and as soon as I got out, I grabbed it and I put it out. And I had a nice little burn there, about the size of a hard-boiled egg, and it was even black around the edges, and it hurt. And I realized right then that if you're going to fool around with fire, you can't be wearing a flammable outfit. I mean, think of the Steward of Gondor. You remember in The Lord of the Rings? Where Gandalf gets him to set himself on fire, and he runs and jumps off the point of the White City, and he plummets to the ground, a human torch. He had it coming, right? You don't want to do that in a blacksmith or a fabrication shop, so I thought, that's it. 100% cotton or nearly, because it smolders and it doesn't burn. So Carhartt was still a working man's corporation then. They're not anymore. Carhartt is no longer making clothes for working men. Now they'll deny that, but they're trying for the style market mostly. But back in the day, Carhartt shirts were great. This is 98% cotton. And I don't know why, and I don't wear them anymore anyhow because they're just, well. But the cotton wears through on these faster than other high percentage cotton shirts. And so around the collar, pretty soon I've just worn through them and I got to throw away a $50 shirt. And that's nauseating. And I don't mind some wear marks, but that was one of the reasons that Carhartt dropped by the board. Next one I tried, I think this is a Baxter brand. I don't know where that came from. Made in Sri Lanka. Short sleeve. No, that's a long sleeve. It's lighter. I wore that some. It was light. This may have come from Fred Meyer. That's a local department store. Okay, this one came from Fred Meyer, I think. Great Northwest. Pretty good detail in the stitching, and it's not super heavy, but on the short sleeve summer shirts, they were good. And the collars didn't wear through too fast. I liked them, but it was hit and miss whether or not you could get them on the shelf. And when you mail order, when you get on Amazon or one of the other websites, you can't really tell what you're getting, can you, if you're not familiar? But, I mean, it was all right. So for the last 2 or maybe 3 years, this red cap shirt is the one I've settled on. We order them. They're consistent. It's a value. I mean, they're made in Honduras, and so those people aren't making enough money for what they're doing, but it's not China. And it's a good shirt. It's heavy material. It's high. It doesn't burn. It's not going to burn me up. The buttons stay on. The buttons and the buttonholes line up. You know, the collar will wear through eventually, but it's not in a hurry to wear through like Carhartt was. It's a value solution. If you know something better, if you know a supplier or a brand, I don't mind paying more money if I get more shirt, right? But for now anyway, and for probably maybe a dozen of these things, heck, maybe more than that. I got the wintertime, and I got the wintertime, summertime. I probably maybe a dozen of these. I like it. And if they would just put that row of stitching around the collar, I don't think I would ever be looking to change. But if you know a shirt, it's got to be fabric, it's got to be cotton, it's got to be khaki, it's got to be heavy enough to take some abuse, and it should look like you didn't just roll out from under a rock somewhere. But anyway, I don't know if that's helpful. I don't know if this is vanity. I don't know if this is being a penny pincher. Probably all of the above, but mostly, doggone it, I like having a uniform. I don't have to worry about where to go to buy them. I don't have to worry about when I go into my closet in the morning, what am I going to put on today, because I know what I'm going to put on. And there's some comfort and peace of mind in that. Thanks for watching Essential Craftsman. Keep up the good work.